Good morning. Good morning. Is the Keyers. We're trying a new thing here. We've got Alleah watching. Can we? Yeah, we can bring her. I'm just trying to bring.
What's up?
There she is. Hi.
Jeff. Okay, I was like, gotta fix up my phone here. I think that's good. Does it look like I'm at a club?
Yeah.
Nice. I like kind of am. So there's this restaurant here in Worcester, and they are like a martini bar, but it's also a coffee shop restaurant in the daytime. And so like this is the club section, but it's the quiet section. So I was like, can I go over there? They're like, sure.
Nice.
So
yeah, you got the bright lights behind you. That's a cool thing.
yeah, I was like, well, I like it over here. Get the whole room to myself.
Are you
So
loud and clear for you?
yeah, I think so. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit. There we go.
Is your audio going through your?
Yeah, it is. Can you hear it? Is it all right?
You're a little quiet on my end because I just have it going through my phone.
Yeah, just turn it up maybe.
Yeah, I'm up all the way.
Oh yeah, I hear you better now. So let me see if I can turn. Let's see. There's like maybe a button. All right, if I talk a little louder, is that better?
I can hear what you're saying. It's just really quiet.
Oh dang. All right, let's see. Let's see if there's. We might just have to roll with it this time, and I figured out next. Usually I'm in my office, but I was out and about today because I was like, haven't getting office fever.
Awesome. Yep.
So roll with it. So let's tell what we're doing here. So this is your Facebook group. You're this crazy guy through a couple years ago was like, let's get the Abraham people like in one spot, bros. And you've done like an incredible job. And I love it here. Everyone's super Abraham. And so that's awesome. What made you start this group 3 years ago?
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I was a part of a lot of other Abraham Facebook groups for like the year prior to that. And I mean, I was an Abraham person for over a decade before I knew that there was like, that you could access all these people on Facebook that were also super into Abraham. And so I started joining all those groups and just seeing all the Abraham memes all the time and stuff. And then I don't know what inspired me to make my own. I guess I'm just sort of like a creative type. Like I've always been into making websites and things like that. And so just one day decided to go ahead and make my own group, and it was really fun because it started growing really fast. If you ever try to make your own group, it's just you get organic growth immediately, so it's just a fun process. And actually,
super cool.
Groups. This is the public group, and then there's a private group. Both of them have grown to be really big groups. So
yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So yeah, I started posting. So I also been in hardcore Abraham for like 10 plus years, 10, 11, 12 years. And I love this stuff. So I found your group, and whenever I post, it's awesome because everybody's there, super into it. People liking to learn the nuances, and there's no like, affirm yes to claim $100,000 to be deposited in your bank account tomorrow. So it's a really good group. So for me, I teach law of attraction. I'm a law of attraction coach. I love articulating stuff, love working with people. And so I've just been having tons of fun. And so people know what you and I are up to. We've become friends, and we've been powwowing, chatting. And so we just thought it would be fun to get on here, go live, answer people's questions, and then like bring a another element to this group of live chat, live conversation, and just having tons of fun doing the law of attraction, Abraham bantering back and forth. So if you are tuning in, if you're watching the recording of that, that's what we're going to be doing. So people will be able to throw questions in. We'll go back and forth, have a lot of fun. We don't have a lot of plans. We're just like, hey, let's go live and see what we feel like talking about, since we both love this stuff. So am I missing anything for the intro, or does that kind of cover it?
No, that's it. Yeah, I've been sort of like planning to start doing something like this on my own for a while. And then Alleah approached me recently, sort of serendipitously, about doing this as a co-venture. And since she's like got a lot of experience, excuse me, in the coaching, I thought this is great. This is a perfect time to go ahead and do this together.
Let's do it. Let's start. Yeah, I do this basically every Sunday night and every Monday morning, doing something like this. So I'm super in the groove. I did my meditation this morning that you watched, and the Sunday night thing I've been doing a lot of travel this year. So it was more last year. I might get back in the groove, but we're going to be hanging out here doing this, and so this is awesome. So what's on your mind today for like Abraham? I know I was reading through some quotes this morning and saw a really good one that was made me start thinking. So it was a quote about how Abraham was specifically talking about healers, okay, and really saying how the role of the healer is to really like suck people into their high vibration, and everybody is capable of doing this on their own. Nobody needs a healer. However, really good healers are trained and able to maintain that high vibration. So when somebody sick is around them, they don't see the sickness. They're not talking about the sickness. They are seeing that person perfect where they are, wherever in their journey. They're able to hear the person talking, and they are able to see it and not get sucked down. And so because they can stay up, that's an element of healing. So Abraham said in the quote, this is like probably one of the daily quotes that was sent out a couple years ago, that a couple weeks ago, that everybody can do this on their own, but if you're working with a healer who's practicing this, you can actually move your energy quicker. So I think that this is kind of relevant. You and I are teachers, and so there's an interesting dynamic here where we're working with students, we're working with people who have issues, and we can teach and talk about this stuff, but there's this balance between seeing them like, oh yeah, they have a problem, we need to help their problem, versus like, oh, hey, you're interested in like shifting energy. Let's talk about shifting energy, because it's just this kind of balanced nuance, whether you're talking to somebody activating problem energy or activating kind of that healing energy, whether it's a physical symptom, whether it is, an argument they're having with somebody in their life. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, that was on my mind this morning. And I saw a meme on a friend's Facebook yesterday where they had like a little visual, which was like, it didn't have anything to do with Abraham, but the visual or the meme was somebody sitting there saying, when somebody's venting their problems to you, what they need is your vibration, not your lecture. And so I feel like it was kind of cool. Like I saw that yesterday. I read this one this morning. So that's what's on my mind this morning. What does that bring to your mind, Jeff?
Yeah, that's interesting, because it kind of coincides with what Tom said too about problem and solution energy. And I do think that we are all students and teachers, always like in the game of life, and with something like this. And what you were saying about being in the solution energy, I think it is, we learn again and again, it's all about your propensity or how you're leaning more in the direction of the solution energy than the problem energy. So like just watching your live this morning got me thinking about that, about how, I learned again and again to not really really try to like tackle problems too head on, because you get in that problem energy where it seems like, what am I going to do about this? Versus goosing up something that you already feel confident about, or you already feel passionate about. It's sort of a different energy when you're in the energy of the solution versus the energy of the problem. So like, you know, if you have, you know, it's always going to be in some of the main areas. You know, it could be your finances, it could be your health, it could be your relationships. But you might have an issue in one of those areas that keeps coming up, maybe a thought that plagues you a lot, you know, and trying to like figure out exactly what to do about that versus like just shifting your energy with something that's a little bit easier can be really beneficial. Like, you know, I love this, like, it could be anything, you know, like, boy, I really like these misty mornings here where I live in beautiful Arcata, California, you know. That's something that's just such a cleaner, easier place to kind of like access another rung up the emotional ladder than something that you're already kind of like vibrating low about.
Totally. That's specifically when I go out and do my abundance work, when I'm working on my abundance energy, I go out on my deck, and the first thing I activate is so much energy. Because if you're thinking about what is the energy, what is the vibration of abundance, right? Really, we're looking at the energy of like so much, so much, so much. So if you want to bring abundance if you want to attract financial abundance, wealth, or whatever, then really you're just trying to activate the so much part of money. However, if you think about the money and you think about your debt, or you think about what you don't have, then whenever you think about the money, you dip down. But what you can do is you can go activate the so muchness of anything else. And if you activate the so muchness of anything else, it leaks into the finances. So you can go outside and be like, there's so many trees. There is so much fresh air. There is so much beauty. There's so many flowers. There's so much of all of this. And so now you're vibing so much. You're vibing the abundance of the so muchness. And if you do that without going on the topic of money, it's only so long before that energy goes and spills over, and now you're vibrating the so muchness of a lot of different things. So that's kind of what you're talking about, is like the problem energy. And for people who are not really sure, problem energy is when you see a problem. It's like step one, right? And you realize you don't like it, and you realize you want to, you know, you're frustrated, don't like it, and now you want to fix it, or you want to get away from it. And so this is where a lot of people get stuck, because now they're just like, I got to get away from this thing. But if you're in the problem energy, even if you're saying things like, well, I know what I want. I really want money. I really want a partner. I really want a new job. I really want direction. I really want clarity. I really want a good feeling body. I really want to have hot sex, or like whatever it is. Then even though you're technically saying what you want, you're in the problem energy, versus the solution energy, which is saying, okay, I just experienced this contrast. What is it what is it that I want, but not with the energy of the opposite of what you don't want. It would look like, well, it'd be amazing to have tons of money. It would be amazing to have somebody to share this life with. It would be amazing to have direction in this life. And so that is the essence of problem energy, which is identifying something you don't like and wanting to get rid of it, wanting to fix it, versus using that as just your excuse to be like, what the hell is the universe trying to tell me? What is my inner being trying to tell me? What is it that I want to manifest? And so realizing the nuance between, is whatever you're doing stemming from lack energy or having energy? And lack energy is the same as problem energy. Having energy is the same as solution and manifesting energy. So good. So good.
100%. Yeah, like I'll find that, like for me, with something like that, with things that I feel like are a problem and trying to hit them too head on. And one thing that I tell people a lot is about, like, you don't have to be on a particular topic in order to move your energy up and then affect those other areas. And so,
No.
like, you can can do something like getting off the topic that's bothering you, which can be hard, right? Because when you try to not think about something, that doesn't usually work. So, like I said, boosting up something else, I find that I personally can get into a higher vibration when I'm engaged in creative endeavors. So like that's something that I've noticed again and again. So that would be something that I would call like a touchstone, right? Like, oh, that's a touchstone for me. I know that when I go there, when I go to this, I always kind of feel good when I'm doing that. So a way for you to maybe access that would be like realizing like interest. Interest is a really good like bridge from like a lower energy to a higher energy. So if you can think to yourself, similar to how you said like, wow, the abundance of fresh air, the abundance of sunlight, the abundance of all these things around me, if you can think something like, wow, I really do have like an abundance of things that I actually am excited about. There are like a ton of things in my life that I do feel a lot of positive energy about. I might not be on this topic, but I can start to really look and see that like, wow, like I'm actually a really inspired, eager, excited person. Look at this thing that's in motion in my life right now that's actually in a really positive direction. Or look at like this thing that I'm like super interested in and I want to know more about. And that was a really big bridge for me. When I remember Abraham saying that, like, you might not be able to feel like over the moon about something right now, but yeah, I think I can feel interested. I can totally feel interested in something. And that's a really good way to like key into like, you get interested in something and before you know it, you're like passionate about stuff.
Yeah.
And then
definitely we got to go easy on ourselves, right? We got to let ourselves off the hook. It isn't like, oh, if we're not experiencing pure joy right now, we are not exercising law of attraction. Like we're not exercising the process. This is about like, how do we feel right now and how could we feel better? How could we just wiggle our way into something better? And I like that when it's like, well, yeah, maybe I can't feel like what you just said, super excited or knowing, but could I get interested in something right now? And that's a different question. And then that's like, yeah, I probably could find something that I could be interested in. That's cool. That's a cool way to put it.
I'm just looking at some of the comments in the chat. We got.
Oh, cool! I don't even know how to check that.
Let's see.
Oh wow! Look at it. I didn't even realize anyone was watching. It was just you and me. Hey guys!
Lots of cool people in here. Vortexy Rama. She's like been in here in these groups forever. She's amazing. Has great posts. Hi Vortexy. We've got Emmy Har.
Super cool. Yeah, you guys.
Vibration, not your lecture.
Yeah, right. That was a good. I didn't come up with that. I saw that. I was like, oh, geez, I need to share that shit.
Yeah, she's cool. She's really into Kangen water.
Nice, right? Honestly,
We have
so cool.
Fu. She's been like in both of my groups like since the beginning. She said, "I just ooze my energy and light to all beings." That's
it. That's the sauce.
That powerful. Yeah,
that is super
and to really
powerful.
realize that you are doing that at all times. That we're so intimately connected with everything in the universe. In other words, in the oneness of all of us. Like. What I remember reading in a book before I even got into Abraham, I read like a book from like 1910 or something like that called In Tune with the Infinite by Ralph Waldo Trine.
Okay.
Things in there was like, they said it again and again, and like, as you create it for you, you're creating it for all the world beside. And that's such a thing to realize. It's like, wow, it's really worth it.
Just got goosebumps on that.
Energy, because that's everybody else.
Dude, my favorite part of this shit is that when we do this for ourselves, that is how we most powerfully help other people. That is how we spread these vibes, right? Like, so when I say, hey, how do I get into the best feeling spot? And now I'm bursting. Now when I walk through my life, like people are like, what is that? What is going on over there? And then they come into that sphere and then they, and then now that's being spread. And so whatever we're emanating, we are manifesting out of people. And how beautiful that is that as I work on attracting abundance, as I attract, manifesting whatever I'm working on, I'm thinking, what am I manifesting? You know, I'm always manifesting lots of things, but even just like progress and growth and feeling amazing and feeling that sense of purpose and fulfillment of like helping people, like as you work on these things for yourself, you are giving that to the whole world. You are giving that. And a lot of times, like I find, I'm curious if you've seen this too, is that with the people I work with, sometimes I just need to show them what the energy looks like, right? So it's like, and then they see it and then they can just grab onto it. And so it's like kind of this thing of like borrowing energy from people. So like somebody might be talking about, oh, I have to go to this family reunion and I'm nervous, right? And that's the story. So the story is that they're manifesting, I have to go to this thing and I'm nervous about it. And then they might conceptually see like, okay, this energy is not good. You know, I shouldn't go into it with this, but I don't really know what energy to grab onto. And then you can show them like, all right, this is the energy. You wake up in the morning, you go get a pedicure, you have a glass of wine at lunch, and then you sit back and you're like, yes, you know what? I don't care about anything. I don't care what these people say. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to do my thing. And then they're like, oh, I like that. I can totally harness I'm going to do my thing energy, and I can bring that into whatever I'm going into. And I do this sometimes. Like sometimes I'll be watching maybe some sort of like coach or motivational speaker that I'm just like, whoa, she's amazing. Then I can literally borrow her energy. I can think, what is she feeling right now? What is she doing? How does she stand in her kitchen? How does she drink her coffee? So I could stand in my kitchen with my cup of coffee being like, I'm going to feel like so-and-so today. And then I'm kind of like sitting there by myself. I got a little bit of swagger going on. I'm beefing up. I'm juicing up the energy, right? So now like it's just in my mind. It's an energy thing, but I'm grasping onto the energy that somebody else showed me. And then I take that into my day. Then I approach my to-do list. Then I start answering emails. And so this whole thing of like showing energy and letting people borrow that. Now I'm manifesting the juiciest things I could imagine for myself and giving that energy to anybody else. That's why I love teaching, doing this kind of thing, because you're just giving everybody this energy. That's so cool. That was a long rant. Sorry.
That was amazing. And that's something that we've heard from Abraham forever, is that, you know, if you're not selfish enough to do what you need to do for you so that you can be connected to this energy, then you don't have anything to offer to anybody else.
Nothing to offer.
And so it's a little bit counter from what we learn a lot sometimes from other humans, where it's kind of like more the energy of like, I'll appreciate it if you're sacrificing more for me, or, you know. And it's a little bit of a backwards thing where you're depleting yourself, isn't helping others as much as you filling yourself up and then overflowing onto others, because
yes,
leading by example. These are things that are like throughout all of the Abraham teachings. They're always teaching us to do what you need to do for you so that you can be leading by example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
exactly.
that you can like get a sip of that energy.
Totally.
That goes into kind of like calibrate, don't manipulate, right? Like if you wanted to help somebody and you're trying to like convince them, right? Maybe in like a conversation or something, you know, and they just dig in more to how they believe, you know, versus you kind of like making the shift within yourself to where they go, hey, I want to catch a whiff of that because that looks like,
yeah.
You know, and that's how from someone's normal experience, you can feel that like when you're being told, you kind of almost want to just do whatever the opposite of what you're being told to do.
Oh my God.
Like, when
that's
it feels
because
like your idea.
So let's look at this more closely. So what's exactly happening, right, is person over here is saying whatever, and then this person is trying to convince them of something. Mm-hmm. Energetically, this person is saying, you don't get it. So in their attempt to make them get it, they're actually manifesting them not get it even more.
Right. So that's why it's kind of like, you know, they say for like, you know, look for your own vortex version of people that you want to see. So you don't see a need to fix other people because you kind of already, whatever they're showing you in the moment, you know, it's kind of like what's manifested right in this moment doesn't mean anything compared to what's in the vortex, and you have a vortex version of every single person you know. So it's like, if there's things that you see about someone that you don't see about someone that you would like to see, it's like practice seeing them anyway, you know. Like, see that person like gainfully employed, see that person, you know,
perfect where they fucking are, right? Like perfect where they are. And that's like absolute, because it's perfect where they are.
Yeah.
Perfect where they are.
Yeah.
Totally. We see this all the time. People want to help people, right? People want to get in and they want to help somebody and they care so much. And so they get worried about somebody, right? And so, and the rest of the world said, if you care, worry about them.
Right.
But your worry is actually activating the worst part of them. Your worry is saying, like Abraham says, if you're worried, you should be. Because if you're worried, now you're actually going to manifest the proof of the worry.
Exactly.
So it's like, how do we then, but let's bring it back down to like reality, right? Because this stuff is like super easy on a conceptual level, but let's like talk about what this looks like in real life, right? We're sitting down, right? We're talking to somebody and they got something to say. This happened and this happened and this happened, something horrible happened. And so what do we actually do? So now we've got a friend, they're talking, and it would be normal. The rest of the world outside of this group would think it would be normal and appropriate to say, oh man, how do you gonna do it? That sucks. Right?
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah.
But then the extremists, then like if you look at like, if you just like pull out specific quotes, the textbook version of law of attraction stuff could then make you think that you also should go on the other extreme, which is being like, don't talk about your problems, can't listen to your problems, right? And so, yeah, just don't. But that's not helpful either, right? And so the essence here of how do we deal with this is less important about what's coming out of our mouth and what we're saying to them, and what is the energy. Can we look at them, not be so concerned about the words that come out of our mouth, but can we be in their presence and at the same time deeply be smiling, knowing they are growing, they are where they should be, they are on their path, they are manifesting, and as low as they get, the intensity of their low is going to match the possible intensity of the high once they transition from not having to having. And so when we're in the presence of people going through some stuff, is their negative energy going to bring us down, or are we able to maintain a love vibration and knowing vibration that all is well, all is unfolding perfectly? Because then if we can first of all, if we've never done this, don't worry about what we're saying, because we just got to practice the energy on the inside. Because if we can't maintain the energy on the inside, then there's no chance we're going to say the right thing, right? But if we're maintaining the energy on the inside, then it almost doesn't matter the words we say, because those are going to be inspired or stemmed from the nugget, which is like, you are on this beautiful path and it is working out for you and it's fine.
Yeah. And that goes back into our initial thing of like problem energy versus solution energy. Like if you're looking at someone and saying like, there's a problem here, I need to help with it, versus like coming in solution energy, which is more like, and not even just the word solution is not even quite enough. It's more like joy energy. You know, it's like, am I doing this because I'm just like sharing my joy with this person? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Am I having fun today and that's what's inspiring me to say something to someone? Or do I feel like I need to fix someone or fix something?
Right.
It could be someone else. It could be something in their own life. Am I inspired to do this? Is this an inspired action or an inspired thought, or is this a motivated thought? Is this something that
totally.
I feel like needs to happen because I'm afraid of what will happen if it doesn't happen? Or is this something that I feel like I'm in the mood to do this? I want to do this because I enjoy it. And if you're coming from that energy, it's like, this is something I really genuinely want to do and that genuinely feels good to me, then you can't go wrong.
Yeah, definitely. I find my energy when I'm working with people is kind of more of a, it's like more of a, when I'm working with somebody, I only work with people who are into law of attraction, right? And so, because I like to be able to keep it to what it really is. When I started coaching a long time ago, I work with anybody, and I just realized I love working with the people who already are used to this language. So a lot of times, open, right? They kind of get it. They know that this is going to be the strategy going forward. And my approach energetically is is just more like, okay, what do you have? What do you want? Let's take a look at what's preventing you, and then like right? It's not like I'm not like. There's no like Enya in the background, right? There's no like, hey, I'm going to lift you up. This is about, okay, let me show, like, let's use these tactical, methodical, dependable, repeatable processes, because all of our problems are going to be the same nugget, which is starting off with, we don't feel well and we would like to feel better. And there's many ways to go from not feeling well to feeling better. But when you're in the thick of a problem, that can look tricky. So we have to just, that's kind of like what we're doing right now, right? We're chatting, we're bantering, and this could feel good to people. This could feel good to tune in. This could feel good. And this would be just listening to something is an example of like moving energy from one thing to another, going out for a walk, having a second cup of coffee, making cake, making a salad. Like, it could be anything. It's like the definition of a process is like going from feeling one way to a little bit better, and anything that gets you there is anything that can help with that is fair game.
Yeah, and that's a huge like pillar of the Abraham stuff too, you know. So like, take it back to the emotional journey. A lot of times you're trying to go on some other kind of journey. When you realize that like everything is an emotional journey, now you're kind of like back on track. It's like, if I'm doing what I'm doing to improve how I'm feeling, then I can like really get somewhere. But if I'm like just leaving my feelings to like feel however they feel, and then trying to like do something else to like fix something, then I'm not tending to the energy. And if I'm not tending
exactly,
now I'm not connected. Now I don't have the resources. Now I don't have the inspired ideas. Everything's harder from those kind of
dude. Last summer I was like building out some stuff, and I was like very much in like this mode of, I want to be efficient. I want to build these things. And I spent like a month or two working on all this stuff, and ended up having to trash all of it because I was thinking too cerebrally. I was like, what's the best program? What's the da-da-da? And I wasn't checking in with myself. What would be fun? What would be easy? I wasn't doing that. And so I ended up building out all this stuff that was stemming from me trying to do it right, which was really not having it right energy. And so I built like these systems and stuff for the stuff I was working on, and then like it was like one of those times where you make an excuse for, okay, right now I'm working on this, so right now this is important, and so like I'm just like, the priority isn't going to be like giggling and having fun. So it's one of those times where you justify, not holding that as a priority. And I was feeling good. Don't get me wrong, I was feeling really good. But when it came time to this one project I was working on, like the priority was like getting it right. And so I was like manifesting it not being right. And I wasted like at least 6 weeks of building this thing out, where I was just like, I guess it looks correct on paper, but then it doesn't. It was like technical platforms that I was like putting stuff on. It was like me trying to figure out like the technical way of doing things. And then I was just like, technically this should all be working together, but it's hard. Nobody likes it. Like it's difficult. There's like all of these like little kinks in the process. And then I just had to throw all of it out. And so when we tend to our energy, like you were just saying, we're tapped in and we get efficiencies and we accomplish 10,000 times what it would take to if we were doing forced action. So it just comes back also to this, like, is something forced action or is it inspired action? I know we haven't talked about it, but I know you know those terms, right? Forced action versus inspired action.
Right, yeah. Well, we were just talking about that, motivating yourself versus inspiring, like manipulating versus calibrating. And something cool to note too about that, especially for deliberate creators, people who are into this work, like probably the type of people that are watching in this group, if this is something that you've been doing for a while, there's no going back, so it's like if you've already kind of like discovered these keys and these things like about your true nature and who you really are, and the more and more that you've tasted the sweetness of alignment, what happens is like your bar raises higher. And so like there's more on the line now. And so if it seems like you're sliding back, or if it seems like it's difficult, part of the reason for that is because you can't go back. You can't know something, more deeply about yourself and then go against that. Because like what that is split energy. It's always about like bringing that split energy back together.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's really more good news than it is bad news.
It was definitely, it was fine. It made me recalibrate to, because this world of like social stuff and online platforms is new to me. So last summer I was like terrified to have to like learn, like websites and stuff like that. But then it made me realize that like there's no exception, that there's no exception, right? Which is what's easy, what's fun, right? What's easy, what's fun, what's easy, what's fun. Like there we go. What's easy and what's fun. And so I was able to just I literally like I went back to all my original like super simple platforms, and then I cut out a few things, simplified my schedule, and then I was like, it's been awesome. And then coming back to, because I was also trying to be like, what would be smart? Like I was trying to also, like, part of it was timing. Right. When do I do my free lecture? Like when do I do my meetups so that the most amount of people can come? Right? What can I do?
Most fun.
Or like what time just works best for me? What time makes it super easy for me? What makes it super easy on my schedule? And so I went. So yeah, during this period, like 2 months, when I was like doing new stuff, I was thinking, well, what would be smart? What was the right way? Rather than, and that's okay to add in a little bit of that if you're already feeling good, but if you're feeling overwhelmed and then you go there, no bueno.
And like,
but if you
with like problems and solutions, right? That's kind of similar to questions and answers. It's
yeah.
Like, hear from like Abraham about like problems is like there really is no bottom. Like problems are a bottomless pit. So
yes.
If you get in that problem energy, which is the same thing as if you get in that question energy. If you're like questioning something, then you can stay in that forever.
Forever.
You're like, ooh, another question that needs, another question. Versus like if you get into anything that you have an answer about, anything that you feel like clear about, that can lead to another thing and another thing and another thing that you feel clear about.
Yep, definitely. Clarity.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. It's a good topic to bring up. Like clarity isn't something that like happens by accident once you figure everything out. Clarity happens when you pause and say, what does clarity feel like, and how do I flex and build momentum on that so that everything becomes clear, right? Clarity, that shit don't happen on its own.
Right, by going like, what am I clear about?
Yeah. Yes. What am I clear about? And it could be like, maybe you're trying to find clarity in your business, but you're like, I am clear about how much I love this person. I am clear that I love nature. I am clear that I don't know, love beer, love wine, love my living room, love my pillow, love my blankies. Like I am clear, right? And so then you're like, okay, so that's kind of what clarity feels like.
Right.
Let me grasp onto that.
All preference things, because that's one place where we can like always find clarity, is in well, I know what I like. I remember even before even knowing about Abraham, I'm talking like 15 plus, maybe 20 years ago, when I was in more of a metaphysical kind of like philosophy in general seeking sort of state, and there's like the idea of everything being meaningless and stuff, and the idea of like that you can't know anything for sure. There's nothing you can know for sure, And, later on I discovered like, no, there are some things that I can definitely know.
Definitely tell you.
100% sure. And I remember some of my main examples with that were sort of funny, but like, I know I like mac and cheese. Like, no one's going to convince me that I don't like mac and cheese. I am like certain.
So clear on that.
So certain. You know, if you want to take it into something that's a little more hard hitting, it's like, I know I love my mom, you know.
Right.
Never gonna,
Yes.
you know, I know I love my mom. Or maybe for your
Yes.
maybe I know I love
Somebody.
or whatever it is. But you can use those things to start boosting up the energy of like what you do know.
Yes.
You know?
Definitely.
I had an idea, like just in this past year, that like, man, I would like to write that as a book. Things I am sure about.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Isn't that just a great place to
It
be?
feels good. It feels good to hear that phrase. Things I'm sure about. I'd be like, well, damn, what's he sure about? I'd like to know. Oh my God, that's so good. This is so good.
Let's see, did I miss any comments here? We had Menchie Pronton. She's one of the admins in our group, and she's been making her own memes and things in there
Nice.
forever. And she's so sweet and so cool. Hi, Menchie.
Awesome.
So good to have you in here. Natalie.
So good.
Terry.
Look at everybody. This is
Comment.
exciting.
Shiva Raj. Gwen Cusack, Nasira. Hi, bro. Much love. Thank you. Hi, Nasira.
Super
Always
cool.
love seeing you. You're so awesome.
Sue Ellen says surety is financial. Well, Sue, tell us more what's on your mind there. 'Cause I'm not sure totally what you're saying, but I really think about the finances. Wealth is insane. It's one of those stories. So let's go there if you want to go there. Say something else. Say something else. Give us something. So I'll just say, like, so my business that was my law of attraction experiment is my wine importing business. So I started my wine importing business in 2012, and I learned about law of attraction in 2011. I, was dabbling, small stuff, and then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to start this business. This is going to be it. I'm going to use nothing other than law of attraction. Because at the time, I knew nothing about wine. I knew nobody. I had no reason to get into wine importing. But I had my job for a long time. I had said, I want my own business. I don't know what. And one of the first things I realized after learning law of attraction is if I say I don't know what I want to do, then I'm manifesting not knowing what I want to do. So I knew that.
Energy. Yeah.
Don't know energy. So then I switched it around and I said, okay, I'm curious what my business is going to be. So I swapped out the language for about 6 months. And then I was with a friend. She was telling me about how she was making money, like importing stuff and selling it on Amazon. And I just thought, I want to be an importer. And I was drinking wine and I thought, what should I import? And I was like, wine. And then I was like, that was just like this moment of clarity. I was like, oh, Sue Ellen's saying that it's what's bank use. Okay. You're being funny. Okay. And then I'll still tell this story. So then I was like, all right, that's it. I'm going to do this. And so I was like, I don't know anything. I don't know how to do this, but I'm just going to use law of attraction as an experiment because I don't have anything else. So I decided that I would like put in my mind this vision of like being at some sort of networking event and like being like, hi, my name's Alleah and I'm a wine importer. And so this little vision, this little like 4-second vision I had in my mind was like supercharged with good vibes. Like whenever I thought about this like potential future scenario, be like, my name's Alleah and I'm a wine importer.
By the way,
I would smile.
Virtual reality process in the Ask and Is Given book.
Oh, really? Okay.
We're doing a virtual reality, right? In your mind, you're visualizing like a scenario.
Yes, definitely. So then it's okay, Leanne, we'll see you soon. We're going to do this a couple times a week, I think. So then 10 years later, I am a wine importer. I still have that business. I still manage this business, made a lot of money in this business. But I use that as my anchor. And throughout the years, I realized this is really the big thing. So there's so much in the story, so I'm going to try to keep it short. But can you also so let's say I'm unhappy at my job. So I decide I want to start a wine importing business because I have this assumption that if I do this, my problems will be solved. I will have money. I will have freedom. So let me put all of my energy into manifesting this thing because I'm assuming this thing will solve my actual problems. That shit did not happen. I definitely started manifesting a a wine importing business, definitely, because I was juicing up the energy of having this business, but I did not fix any of my original problem energy, which was stress, not enough money, not having fun, and whatever. So then
this thing was the thing that you needed for that to happen. You thought that
exactly
to happen, I need to go from A to B, and thought B was the key.
So you can imagine my frustration when I'm now 4 years into it, have the wine importing business, am nationally known, have the customers, and all of my problems are completely amplified. But I had the wine importing business.
This takes me to like a Bashar quote. It's like circumstances don't matter. Only state of being.
Only state of being. So finally, I use law of attraction to manifest some impossible effing things, man. But then once I found myself like more depressed than ever on my social, I was eating Michelin star restaurants, traveling the world, crazy gorgeous vineyard pictures, and then like at home, like barely holding on by a thread, right? Still not making any money. So this was my big thing where if I want to have an easy life, I have to manifest feeling easy. If I want money, yes. If I want to manifest money, I have to manifest feeling abundant. If I want to manifest, like chillaxing, I have to manifest chillaxing. Like there's nothing I could manifest that would actually result in those things. And so this has been, and then, so then this entire journey up until even just 2 years ago, where I realized, God, there's like these things that I went from over $225,000 in student debt to way more money than anyone would believe I could do with a wine importing business here. And still, though, realized then it was fine tuning, realizing I still don't like some of these things. Some of these things are still stressful. So 2 years ago, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to do these things over here. I do want to do this thing that's fun and makes money. I don't want to do the things that are not fun and don't make money. I don't know what to do. So I went to talk to my mom because she's in a law of attraction enough to be able to banter about this stuff. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And I had like in my mind, there were several options, but I had to raise into asking questions, being curious in order to manifest answers. And of course, like in that banter, she was able to help me figure out a totally different option I hadn't even thought of, which was actually parsing out a piece of the business and just giving it away to somebody. So this stuff's crazy. I don't even know where I was going with that, but I think you and I are probably fairly skilled in Abraham tangents. So it's crazy stuff.
It goes into everything that we've been talking about with like taking an emotional journey versus taking like an action journey.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think of too, because you get a lot of people who cross over that study Abraham. A lot of them are into the Neville Goddard stuff too. And one of the things he talks about a lot is like, and Abraham talks about a lot, is like it's already yours. So like everything that's in your vortex is like is a present now thing from the source perspective. You know, for us, it's like if we keep putting it in the future, and if you're like in the energy of like, I'm not there yet, then you're going to keep manifesting the situation of
I'm not there yet, even if you are way more there.
Better when this happens versus like that goes into the like getting the cart before the horse thing, you know, like what you really want to do is feel how you want to feel, and you can do that without the circumstances changing, and then the circumstances have to switch and match that new feeling that you've achieved. And you can any method,
make anything up.
You want to feel better, you know, and you know personally what feels better for you. So it's like giving yourself permission to go like, well, I know what I like. I know what I want to do in the next 5 minutes. I know, you know.
Definitely.
feels good to me, and let yourself go there.
Yeah.
Let yourself
Definitely.
feel a little bit better for the next 5 minutes, for the next day or the next week. If you have to turn off your notifications, or if you have whatever.
You saw that with me last Thursday, right? You saw me go offline last Thursday, right?
I've kind of seen something about that.
Yeah, no, I had a day last Thursday. I had a very human day where I was like out of alignment, and I followed the rules. I cleared my schedule. I didn't do any coaching. I didn't take any meetings. And honestly, I want to tell this story for anybody who's watching who just feels so low, like they can't even do anything. So on this particular Thursday, I also did not want to do any processes. I did not want to rewrite anything. I didn't want to tune to appreciation.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do any of this stuff.
Like it from that.
You don't feel like it. So this is what you do. On days like that, it's self-care. In terms of drinking tea, sitting out in nature, got a massage. Even if I couldn't afford a massage, even if I just took time and got like some lotion and just did some, self-massage, self-care. So for anybody who's low enough where things seem difficult, that means you're at the self-care stage. And a little bit of self-care is going to improve things enough where you're like, all right, let me watch this video. Okay, let me try this thing, and to help kind of climb up that. So anybody who's feeling like that something is too much, if a process feels too much, you don't do that process. We only do things that genuinely feel good to do.
Right. And that's another thing that's been on my mind too, is like, because the processes, the way they put it in the Ask and It Is Given, is that different processes are more helpful for like different levels.
Different stages. It's so good in that book that they tell you which ones to use.
Yeah, you can look up exactly which one, but like in general, like if you're really feeling low, this is something I heard him say recently. It's like, it's like sometimes the best thing you can do is just stop the bleeding. You're not going to get to like where you want to go right now, but you can stop the terrible momentum from continuing,
Yes.
Just kind of, do a little triage on yourself. And that's really like worthwhile too, that's all you can do, then that's what you should do.
And that's an improvement.
It's about beginning to move in that direction.
Exactly.
It's like traffic has gone to a complete halt. Right, and then your car 0 miles per hour. 1 mile per hour feels better. Yes.
Oh man, that just reminds me. I totally sped by somebody really fast this morning. They were going 5 under, and I wanted to go 5 over, and I was like, "It's a back road, but I have a clear sight of vision." I went, and then I laughed because I was like driving like a teenager. Oh my god, dude! I think my phone's gonna die soon, so I think we might need to wrap up for today. But this was fun. I'm like feeling great.
I'm loving it, and we're gonna be doing these more and more. So for anybody else, let me just check the comments real quick too to see if there's anything. Gwen Cusack, feeling grateful for catching my first broadcast. The energy feels so amazing. Awesome. So glad to hear from you guys. So glad to have all you awesome people here contributing. Terry Easterbrook, we love you so much. You are one of our beautiful, wonderful admins, and I've never heard her say anything but positive things. Same with Leanne Fu. She's not an admin, but she is such a sweet girl.
Awesome.
I call her sis, and she calls me bro. Although we have it's sort of a random thing between me and Leanne.
That's awesome.
Do we have anything else? Oh, Courtney Smith. That sounded complicated as hell. I think she was talking to you.
Oh, when I was talking about my technical platform. Yeah, it was, and that should have been my first sign to run away.
I'm way behind in the comments here. We're spoiled now. Yeah. In other words, like when your energy is to that higher vibration, it's like you do get spoiled. You have to continue to spoil yourself, not like go back and second guess your whole new paradigm. There's sort of like an old paradigm and when you were living that way, you were able to tolerate negative emotion more. You know, like and you'll see people in your life that are still at that level that can actually just swim comfortably in negative emotion. But the more and more you tune to the higher vibrations, the more and more uncomfortable the lower vibrations become. So don't think that you're doing something wrong.
It's a good thing.
It's a sign that you're doing something right. You know,
very right.
And if you think about it, like in terms of like, you know, well, Source, if you're like lighting up my path all the time for me, could you light it up a little brighter? Well, that is what's happening when you feel more discomfort. And
yes, it is.
You're getting more acute and more accurate guidance in each
exactly.
moment. You know,
just like Tony Robbins says, you only
negative thought, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Eventually it does get that critical. Eventually
it does.
You just can't hold negativity within your being anymore because you're becoming more of a fully light being.
Exactly. You only get what you tolerate. If you tolerate negativity, you don't get anything more than that. That's a Tony Robbins thing. You get what you tolerate. And so the goal is to tolerate less and less. The goal is to get bothered and bothered more.
Right.
And for that to become your red flag.
Yeah.
To then do something else. So that's the goal, actually, is to get bothered easier and easier.
Maybe some of the things that you want is like a little bit louder guidance. You know what I mean? Like if I just knew the exact thing to do, then I'm willing. You know, you're feeling like I'm willing. I just don't know what it is that I'm like supposed to do. But when your emotions get louder and louder, that your emotions are your whole guidance system. That's the only thing you know. So like if it's like if it's feeling worse, that means
run away, get the hell out.
Please, you know, like course correct, you know, and your emotions are feeling really good, then notice that too. And say like, oh, this is my guidance.
Listen, you trust yourself when you're feeling good, you don't trust yourself when you're not feeling good.
Right, usually, well, always, that means that if you're feeling bad, in a sense, you have a thought going on and you are telling yourself a lie, however big or small that lie is. It's not true. You know, like if it feels bad, it's not true. And that's what the emotions are. It's so central to the teaching of Abraham.
So good.
Your emotions are your indicator of your harmony or your disharmony with the source perspective within you about that exact topic in that exact moment. So you can always know, you can always trust the way you feel.
Always know.
Say, give it the emotional litmus test. The answer to know, the answer to anything, you know, if you want the answer to something, give it the emotional litmus test and be like, well, let's say answer A versus answer B, which one is it? Which one feels better? That's your answer.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
You want. And you can do that.
Exactly.
You can do that in your mind. You can do that any way you want to do it, but it's always there for you. That guy.
It's always there. Dude, it's so spot on. Hey, is your sweatshirt 10 trees?
It is a 10 tree. I got this from my good friend Stacy Dawn.
Nice.
Also an admin in our group. She sent.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, great company.
I get her a 10 tree thing too.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
and we
I like it too. Super cool. Awesome. All right, my phone's about to bounce. So. All right, let's do this. Let's do this in a couple days, Thursday or Friday. Okay. Love you guys, dude. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Alleah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
I don't know how to end it. Do you?
I can remove you.
Okay.
Here we go. Rotate your phone. Oh, you can't turn your phone while recording. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And we're going to be doing this once or twice a week. So look forward to more broadcasts. And please check in the group and give us your questions. Give us your Abraham quotes and memes that you like to have, and we'll answer your questions. And if you have any other success stories too that you want to share in the group, we love those. And if you're not in both groups, get into the private group if you're not in that one. And if you're not in the public group, then get into the public group. And we're just going to keep bringing you more awesome content, and we really appreciate everybody who's participating. And thank you guys all so much. Have a blessed day.